Hey guys, Jace Cosgrove here. Welcome to this week's Financial Insight. What we're going to talk about this week, the age pension in Australia. It's a topic that as you near the age where you might be eligible for the age pension, you really want to know what it's about. How much am I entitled to? Am I eligible? How does it work? What do I have to do? In this short video, I want to give you as much information as I can to help you with all those, simple things, but if you don't know where you're looking, they're pretty hard to find. As always, the general advice disclaimer, you may be old, you may be young, you may be rich, you may be poor, you might be single, you might be married, you might be a high income earner, you might be a low income earner. Anything I talk about may be completely relevant to you or absolutely irrelevant to you. So I don't want you to go and act on anything that you see me talk about off your own bat without taking on the advice of a professional, someone like me that can adequately and appropriately help you. As we talk about the age pension though, getting back on track, probably the most important thing you want to know is how much am I able to get, right? What does this mean to me? The money, talk to me about the money. So if you're a single person, the maximum entitlement to the age pension, $933 a fortnight, which is nearly 25 grand a year, 24,268. If you're in a couple, the maximum is $1,407 a fortnight, which is a bit over $36,500 a year. So depending on your situation, that's the maximum entitlement that you could potentially receive. What are the criteria? Four main criteria. Your age, obviously you have to be old enough to receive the age pension. Your residency, you need to be a resident or meet that criteria. And then the assets and the income test. And we'll talk about all these right now. So, the age. If you were born after 1 January 1954, but before 30 June 1955, 66 years is your age that you must reach before you have any entitlement to the pension. As you see, after this date here, if you were born after 1 January 57, 67 is the age that you need to reach before you have any entitlement. So we're gradually phasing the dates down to 67. Between 1 July 55, 31 December 56, 66 and a half. So soon it'll be 67, but at the moment we're phasing ourselves to get to that point. All right, what about the residency rules? Well, understandably, you need to be a resident of Australia to get the age pension. You must be in Australia on the day that you apply, and you must have lived in Australia for at least 10 years, which must include 5 years continuous service to this great country before you have an eligibility to the age pension. All right, assets and income test. Probably heard about those points before. And again, they're very confusing because they're different if you're single, different if you're married, different if you're a homeowner, different if you're not a homeowner. So let's go through each of those now. There's a bit to it. So in your assets, what's included? Property, excluding your family home. Over here, your principal place of residence doesn't count towards the assets. So you could have quite an expensive or quite a valuable home and it doesn't affect your eligibility towards the pension. So that's rental properties, commercial properties, things like that. Financial investments are included. Money in the bank, managed funds, term deposits, shares. They're financial investments. Your super, your business assets are all included. Motor vehicles, caravans, contents, jewellery, they're included, but they're included what they consider a fire sale price. So if you went to the car yard and said, hey, I'd like to trade in my 2015 Toyota RAV4, and they said, we'll give you $12,500 for that, that's the value for the age pension. What's not included? Medical devices, accommodation bonds, your home, as we mentioned there. Those lists are not exhaustive, but that's going to get you through most of the information that you need. All right, what are the thresholds? So, to receive the full pension, if you own your home and you are single, you can have up to $263,250 in assets. You will get the full pension based on the assets test. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, there's an income test to come yet. If you have over $574,500 in assets, single homeowner, then you're not eligible for the age pension. A couple can have up to $394,500 to get the full age pension for the couple rates based on the assets test. And Over 863,500, they're out. No eligibility. What if you don't own a home? Well, if you don't own a home, then you're renting, and you can have more assets to allow you to get that eligibility. So 473,750 is the minimum that you can have to get full eligibility for a single, 605,000 for a couple, 785 and 1,074,000 is the amounts that if you've got over those amounts, then you don't have eligibility based on the assets test. For every $1,000 of assets above these amounts, the full pension threshold, above the full pension threshold, the entitlement will drop by $3 a fortnight. Okay, so that's how it works. That, you get the full, that you get none. In the middle, every $1,000, you lose $3 of pension a fortnight. All right, talk about the income test. So the assets test is one thing, the income test is another. So what is included income? Employment income over $300 a fortnight. So you can earn up to $300 a fortnight from employment income, and that's not included in the income test. Any commissions you receive, any rental income from properties that you have is all included. And then we'll talk about deemed income. So you've got money in the bank, you've got managed funds, term deposits, shares, and you go, okay, well, I actually draw money out of that in the form of income. It pays me a dividend or a distribution. Do I include that as my income? No, you don't. They deem this amount, and I'm going to talk about that right now. The excluded income, I mentioned the first $300, government payments, payments from NDIS, National Disability, and payments from a close relative are not included in the form of income. Let's talk about deeming. So let's say you had $100,000 in cash and it's invested in the bank and it gets bugger all interest, right? Let's say it earns 0.6 or something like that, you get $600 a year. But you might be drawing out $1,000 a month out of that money, and you go, do I take the $600 or take the $1,000? You take the deemed rate. So for a single person, the first $51,800 is deemed to earn 1%. Everything above that, you earn 3%. That's what the deemed rate is. For a couple, $86,200 up to that amount is at 1%. Anything over that is at 3%. Now, if your investments earn you a significant amount more than that, your financial investments, that's good for you, okay? You're not taking that higher amount in, they're purely basing it on that deemed amount. So the income test. For a single, to get the full pension, you can earn just over $4,500 a year of included income. Remember I said you could have $300 a fortnight of an employment income. That's not included income, okay? It's only that amount there which is above that level I've just mentioned. And the pension will cut off in total at $53,060. So you can earn quite a lot of money before you lose the full eligibility. For a couple, $8,008 a year to get the full pension is what you can earn, and $81,000 is the most you can have. Anything above that, you will lose eligibility. As with the assets test, for every dollar over the threshold, this one here, your pension entitlement drops by 50 cents. Now, we talk about the assets test and the income test. You go, hang on a minute, there's two tests. Well, how does that work? Well, with those four criteria, with your age, you're either old enough or you're not. With your residency, you're either a resident or you're not. With the assets test and the income test, they will base the calculation of the pension on the one that negatively affects you the most, all right, which results in the lower entitlement to you in the form of a pension is the one that they will work out their calculation on. It is what it is. And that's the age pension. I'm not sure, 5, 6, 7 minutes. In a nutshell, they're the conditions that you need to meet. Hopefully that's helped. We're here to help. If you've got questions, if you want to say, hey, this is my situation, can you give me a hand? Yell out. There's our details there, and we're more than happy to help at any time. Thank you guys.